Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bruce Campbell. I play Ash, and this is episode number 5.
Hey guys, it's your friend Ray Santiago, and I play Pablo.
Hey guys, I'm also Ray's friend, but my name is Dana and Di Lorenzo, and I play Kelly. Pablo's my best friend. Shit's about to get real.
This is our friendly recap where we learned what happened in the previous episode, which was what? What did we learn?
We learned that
The answer's inside of you.
yes, look
Acid
inside
trips
yourself.
are bad. Don't do drugs. Is that what we learned?
We learned that. We learned that Kelly is possessed by Elagos. We have not seen the last of him.
And that you're really strong.
Look at
Well, you know, Ash is he's possessed.
That's a good look for you,
Or
Dana.
what was he?
no,
Yeah,
he was
he's
on the
just
drug.
tripping.
You were on the drug trip.
See, that's why drugs are dangerous, kids. Drugs are dangerous. Stay away from them unless you really enjoy them. Well, you know, normally they would, again, this is why I like this show. They wouldn't let, you know, if this was a show called Hunter or Hill Street Blues, you wouldn't have a character trip on acid. I just don't think you'd do it.
Ayahuasca.
Or cause all this to happen because he smoked reefer with some weird chick.
Right.
I just, you know, this is what separates it, and that's what gets me on board, is knowing that this is our hero. This is the guy who's going to save the world. An irresponsible citizen.
Unlikely hero. And this
And, of course, the switcheroo
I
here is
love the
everyone thinks it's
switcheroo.
Ash,
yeah.
but it's not, you know. If only they would take the gag out, I could explain calmly what was wrong.
Which was so hilarious.
I could make my case,
By the way,
and they could let me go.
trying not to laugh. You were so hilarious with the lines, because I don't even think for some of them, did the writers write you lines to say, or were you just like, I know that they did
No.
for some of them, but some of them was just but you could
Well,
still
the
oddly
cool thing is
understand
you.
you.
Could just, well, you could say what you really felt, and the intent would come across,
Right.
even if you couldn't understand every word. But you sort of did.
It was so funny.
They needed responses. Ash would be defending his cojones.
For example, there's a lump in the brain where such demons can be festering. The lump can be removed. All he's gonna lose is just a sense of smell and any feeling of pleasure from the waist down.
What? You calling a Volvo?
How did you like being tied up to that truck with all the fire and flames and candles behind you, Bruce? It's a good time.
I like everything that is restrictive, uncomfortable, and humiliating. I'm a big fan of all of that. Although what's great, you know, prop departments, they're getting a lot better than they used to. The old days, they go, okay, get the rope and wrap them up. And they'd have two guys, and they would wrap you up in rope, and you really couldn't breathe. Here they'd go, oh, yeah, here's a special Velcro attachment that makes all the ropes stay together, and it goes around your waist, and it looks like you got rope, but you really don't. And in between the takes, we can take it off. I'm like, okay, where were you in 1988
right.
on Assault on Dome 4? You know?
Assault on Dome 4.
So sequences like that are getting better for actors because the crew is getting better at it too, at faking
Yeah.
this. Now, is this your alleged smoking scene?
Not yet.
It's coming
It's
up.
coming
Am I
up.
premature?
This is premature. That's a funny choice of words.
This was a really fun episode to shoot because we did so much. I mean, and we got to really explore, how much Pobs really wants Kel and really manipulated the situation in a really funny way. And I think it's for me just the beginning of really exploring our chemistry alone, because I don't
Yeah.
think we've been alone up until now.
Absolutely. That's important because with this show, I think when we first talked to you guys about being in this and casting, it's like you guys have to be able to carry your own show. You
Right.
can't just be the old guy running around cracking jokes. You know, he's gotta have a team, and you guys have to carry the ball. I'm very thankful on record that we got you guys because
Oh,
it,
thank
it
you.
worked.
Thank you.
And
Thank
it
you.
doesn't. You don't know. It's a roll of the dice. You don't know. Ray could have been a bonehead. Danny, you could have been a jerk, or we just couldn't have, or we just didn't get along.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
We got very lucky.
I think so too. And because the problem is if you don't have chemistry or get along, then you're going through the motions.
Right.
And you're faking everything. And yes, I know it's fake industry. Everything's make believe, but it sure makes it easier if you look at that person across from you and you know that they got your back and you got their back and that you give a shit about them and you respect them.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it helps.
It does.
It helps.
And-
And we've all been in situations that are uncomfortable where one of the actors doesn't want to be there. They don't feel like they're being serviced, so they feel like they're a little on the outs. And that can be very uncomfortable to deal with when an actor's on the set and they don't feel like they're fitting in or, getting extra lines of dialogue. I did a guest star thing on American Gothic years ago. And I knew the exec producer, so we went out to lunch and I talked to him a little bit about my character and I asked about a few line changes and he made the changes and we got him back and we got to the set and my scenes were with this actress in the show who was not happy. She was not happy with her part, with the things they were writing for her, and she was sort of a glass half empty kind of actress. And I go, oh, that's weird. I had lunch with a guy and he made all the changes I requested, and she gave me this look of like, you're a fucking day player.
Ooh.
You'll be gone next week. Why are they doing this for you and not for me? And the rest of the day, I was her mortal enemy. And it's like, sorry, babe, the roll of the dice. It just, your approach didn't work.
Right.
As an actor, if they're not getting what they want, they got to try something else.
Right.
And I think you guys know you can go to Rob Tappert as a big, mean producer. He is a rational man. You can go to him and go, Rob, you're killing me here, or whatever. So I hope you feel that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely
Everyone-
feel like we
You
can
know.
talk to anybody.
Yeah. And they were, Craig and the writers are so collaborative and let us, like you're saying, rework things if we need to, or throw out some improv here and there. And like even in this scene, which was probably ironically one of the hardest
Yeah,
scenes to shoot.
We probably sound like we're complaining, but this was a really hard scene to shoot because
Now tell me why, though. It was long. It was about 5 pages.
It was
right?
long, but also just the
the mechanics of the gun, as you'll see, you can't really
you
tell.
can't tell
Sure.
right now. But first of all, let me tell you, smoking fake weed in and of itself is a terrible experience that no one should ever have to go through. It was like incense that it tasted like incense that was grown in like a horse's ass. And then you smoke it. It was awful. But then
No, Dana, it's herbal. This is a herbal tobacco, and you put it in there, and it's very all natural. It's you'll get all natural lung cancer
Exactly.
from this. All
And-
natural cancer.
Exactly. And I personally have never smoked out of a shotgun before.
Yeah, no,
And-
me either.
And that was actually, that shotgun was the real shotgun. So it was very heavy. It was very difficult.
It is a
and-
heavy shotgun.
And
I've
yes,
held it out in front of me. It's a pain in the ass.
I will know. Yes, I feel your pain with that because like even just holding it straight up and down, and like having and David Fraze, who is the director, really needed the gun to be a certain angle for certain things. So like me passing it to Ray and then Ray passing it back, and
It sounds like
and
it would be an easy scene to
it
shoot.
really does. But
But it's also one of those
Right. There's nothing. No one's dying.
Yeah.
No stunts. No green screen. No special effects. Just acting. Is that why it was so hard for you sisters? You
no,
had to act?
it was the physical stuff. It was the
Well, I mean, we just wanted to make sure. Look, you know what? When I watch this scene, often when I watch television shows, I joke with my friends and I say, "Oh, this is the audition scene," and this should have been the audition
sure.
scene.
Yeah.
But we didn't actually read with each other when we auditioned. So
Yeah.
So it was for me important to set up that that it was there because. Off camera, Dana and I, we go out all the time. We have a great time together, and
we honestly talked too much to the point where Jill Marie Jones was like, "How are you still talking? What else do you have to talk about?"
yeah, so
yeah, the chemistry to really show the chemistry. Sorry, I interrupted
for
you.
sure. No, that's fine. And I think what's great is that it's there. And I really remember trying to get a kiss in. I was like, I want to try to get a kiss in, or I mean, that's what I'm trying to do here. And you had what you were doing in your head. So, but look, I mean,
Well,
you
you
see,
kept saying to me, you were like, "Go for it, just go for it," like whatever. And so I remember the more awkward you would make it as every take, like the more like nervous, the more I would go farther with you. And there was just, it just shows how much we trust each other. By the way, that moment of the boop was, do you know how hard it was for me not to laugh at you at that moment? Because listen, I am loving playing possessed Kelly. It is honestly been that's why I got very excited when Sam brought it up in the audition. I've always wanted to play, a psychotic person, like, Jack Nicholson
Yeah, you
does.
do it very well.
Thank you very much.
Very well.
I've been studying
A
my
little
whole
too
life.
well, frankly.
Okay. There's Kelly's
I
rings,
see where
by
this
the
is
way.
going.
By the way, Kelly's rings, I was talking about Barbara Dara and her genius.
Well, what about those rings?
The ring, this one is a secret message, and it says help. Kelly's saying help because she's possessed. Anyway, but getting to play this, so many different levels of being crazy and demonic, from slowly creeping into Pablo to then being full-on seductress and then coming out to being the demon, as you see here.
That's the key, is being dynamic as a demon, because our demons can pretend like they're normal.
Right.
They can drive cars. They can have conversations. They're very smart. They're very cunning.
Right.
And they want to not necessarily kill you. They want to create mayhem.
Well, and they want to play with you before they kill you. They get off on manipulating you and torturing you.
I thought it was
and preying on you.
I thought it was a really clever way to show how much Pablo cares about you. When he probably would never work up the balls to say it. You know what I mean?
Well, and it shows too. I think it's a very beautiful moment that's very relatable. Where like you keep saying, you're basically in love with her. You're saying it in other ways up until this point of the season, and then it's time where you can make your move and you don't. And I think so many people can relate to that when like you finally get it. You're like, here, take your chance. And,
he doesn't want to fuck it up. He doesn't want to do it the wrong way.
Yeah. And it's so funny, Pablo. Or I just called you Pablo. You were so funny in that scene, right? Honestly, you carried that comedy.
So this sequence.
Oh God, this.
What
God,
I want to
leeches.
tell the world is that you had a British accent as the demon.
Yes, I did a voice because I had to do. I didn't know what they were going to do with the voice.
How did that happen?
Because I wanted to give, first of all, everyone else to know. It wouldn't have been very scary if I was like, oh, do you care about your friend's old man? I felt like I had to give a voice to it. And also, I didn't know what they were going to do in the end, which they ended up using a blend of my voice and the Elagos voice. But
so now I'm Alec Guinness.
So my
Wait a minute, I'm
Elagos.
Kelly Grant.
No, my Elagos.
What are you doing?
It was like Harvey Fierstein meets Anthony Hopkins meets Ursula the Sea Witch. So I just thought it would be very. I can't even do it anymore. It was like very. You care about your friend, old man.
Which actually, that line never made it in, did it?
Oh no, they went to the
other one.
added it, yeah. But I just wanted to. I don't know. I think that's creepier. It's a creepy voice so far from Kelly. And God, by the way,
you got the teeth. You have to speak through the teeth also.
Those teeth, remember, they kept falling out when I was trying to eat the leeches. By the way, this scene, I still have nightmares. I am not, listen, I have been swimming since I was like 2 years old. To actually be waterboarded, which isn't even really waterboarding because I'm standing up, but it was, you really cannot breathe. It was the most terrifying thing. And I know it's just a scene. You really cannot, you feel like you're drowning. And it was pretty intense.
Wait a minute. Were you no longer acting for a moment?
I was
it
no
was
longer
real?
It was so real. I have to do very little acting in this show because I'm either half the time actually terrified, or
actually being
or
waterboarded.
actually screaming or being waterboarded. But yeah, Hemke with those real leeches, and it was insane.
Now, did you put real leeches in your mouth or just a rubber one?
No, it was funny. One of the times I wouldn't open my mouth because I thought they were the real leeches. But again, props to Marnie McKenna, because she was like, I can't do the Kiwi accent like you can, Bruce, but she was like, what kind of...
Dana, we're just going to put these little crawlers in your mouth?
Is peppermint
and,
okay?
Just hold your tongue up so they don't go down your throat, because
Right.
they'll lay eggs in your stomach.
Right.
If they go down. Keep them out of your stomach.
Right. So, but there was a bowl of real leeches that they would put on Hemke's skin, and then they would switch it out in the moment for the plastic one with the gummies.
The old Hollywood switcheroo.
But one time they looked so real because they had blood, and I didn't open my mouth, and then I realized they were the fake ones. By the way, I have a nice little battle wound from this. I'm very proud of my battle wound. Only no one can ever
What
see
is
it
it?
because it's in the small of my back, so no one can ever see from my mic pack and like banging up into it. And so I have a nice little circle exactly on my spine that like it would have to be, I'd have to tramp stamp it if I want people to see it, so I can't. But I'm proud of it.
I've got a battle wound on my fist from
Yes,
episode
you do.
7.
I'm very Ray. We were talking about this. How like it's
Yeah.
it's actually like a cool, like in this one I have on my knee.
Yeah.
Like it's I feel cool. Bruce, do you have any battle wounds from your time doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I could add them up from the movies.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's what yeah.
This particular this first season.
No, just
as
the
far as a
movie.
battle
I mean,
wound?
do you have a good one?
Yeah, the
that's
movies. The movies have a cut on my chin, where the opposite side of where my scar is. I have a scar on the left side of my chin, but I have another cut on the right that you don't notice as much because I flipped a stunt guy during Army of Darkness, and I flipped him down these stairs, and his weight pushed my face into the breastplate of my armor.
Oh,
And
God.
it dug into my face, and after the take, they're like, "Hey, Bruce, you're bleeding all over the place." And I looked down, and there was blood all over my breastplate.
Oh my God.
And I'd cut my chin. So they took me into the emergency room dressed as Ash and in full makeup. And Rob goes, "We got to get a plastic surgeon in case he needs a little extra work because being an actor."
Oh my God.
So they got some guy, and he came in, and he looks at me. He goes, "Which one is it?"
That's amazing.
I was like, "Oh," because I had 6 cuts on my
Oh.
face already, just fake cuts.
oh man.
And he couldn't tell what's the real one. I'm like, oh, the doctor can't tell the real one. How interesting. So I got stitched up, and then because with Ash, he's covered with dirt and blood and crap, we just went right back to shooting. Instead of 6 cuts, I had 7, and no one cared.
There you go.
So stitched me up and went back. So getting hurt on this show, it doesn't matter. They'll just keep shooting.
Killing the host. The only choice we have is whether to finish or
By the way, I loved that 2 things that just happened. Ray, your scene with Hemke was beautiful, and that light and the emotion behind it. And Bruce, I loved that was the first time. Well, no, I think we got to do something together in the value stuff, but we just did that scene together, and that was such an intense scene with you, trying to convince you to kill me. That was intense.
Well, because here's the shtick. What they had written, they needed a filler, I think, to pad some stuff out. And they gave us some stuff to do, but I felt it was not satisfactory, and it wasn't more. It was. I didn't get what they wanted to do. So on this show, because we have some license on this show, I remember Dana. I was like, "Come on over, come to my trailer. We're gonna we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do."
Yeah.
And it was look, it's exciting and terrifying at the same time, because I'm sure the writers saw the dailies and were like,
What is
well,
this? Yeah.
that's a new scene.
Yeah.
But we have the leeway to try and fix things on the spot. I think that's good. You want to be a part of a show where you don't have to make phone calls every 3 seconds to get
Right.
approvals like you're a kid.
Thank you, stars.
I've had to do that on numerous shows. We want to change one line of dialogue. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me call the front office. Okay, I guess that's okay, but don't get used to it. That type of an attitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've got a lot more leeway on this show, and we got to do what we got to do. And I felt it worked out okay.
I thought so too. Good collaboration. Ray, we got to talk about this moment. This was a moment that Ray and I got the giggles a bit because it was, like I said, pretty intense, this whole episode. And when Elagos is coming out of my mouth and throat,
And he grabs me.
And he grabs Ray's face.
We had to pretend like there was something actually coming out of your mouth, and
But the way that we did that was they put this apparatus made where they measured my mouth and opened my mouth permanently, like you're at the dentist, where you just look so ridiculous. Like the wind is blowing your mouth open. So my mouth was permanently open with bare teeth, just there, with a light in the center of it.
yeah.
And then Ray and
It's just the weirdest story. It's just
it's
weird.
such a strange story, but we had to then go in sync back and forth while pretending it was the arm grabbing
us,
Ray.
but there's nothing there.
But
so.
the noise, we had to go, we were like,
Yeah.
And we had a moment where we're just like, what
What
are
the
we
fuck
doing?
are we doing? What the fuck are we doing?
Because we're both looking at each other's ridiculous faces with these big open mouths. It was hilarious. By the way, you
As
guys
discussed, you got to go with it.
You gotta go with it.
Go with it. You got to sell it. You can't
Yes.
half sell it.
No, and we sold it, but we had definitely a moment of laughing in there. But wait, was this the one that they used the cannon to put the green goo on you?
Yeah.
I call it the viscera cannon.
The viscera.
And it's an air mortar where they've removed something, Ray. I don't recall what they've removed, but it's just a blast of air coming out of there. It's a single blast, pressurized blast. And that sucker, man, it could go 10, 15 feet and get you. And we'd have them test it. We tested it on a wall. We're like, okay, that'll do it. And so they packed this green crap in there. And, I mean, it fires it out of there. It hits you with purpose, with impact. And what's great about it is you react naturally.
Right.
Of course.
Of getting a pile of viscera shoved in your face. No acting required. You're just like, hey.
Right.
The question is whether you can open your eyes sometimes after it.
Speaking of open your eyes, you almost got your eyes burned off. in
Guys,
this
do you
scene.
remember when we shot this? You
do.
guys stood there. I was a bit closer to the fire, and in the middle of the take, I ran away screaming because I was like, "It's hot!" and you guys
were-
didn't
My
move.
face is burning.
Yeah.
And you can even see that's why my eyes like twitching because
Right.
it's so close to me.
Well, and did they put that Vaseline stuff on your eyebrows to make sure that you didn't get you on fire for the next
I
one,
think
or was
maybe
that
they did.
You're
Luciano?
you're on the wrong side of that fire, pal.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
the wind was blowing your way or
Yeah.
something.
This was a cool sequence, I thought, for me and the show and the character, just because,
Yeah.
you know, it just sort of the whole Brujo thing comes into to light and
Well, it
hit-
also shows Pablo, as indicated in the first episode, there's a little something more to him.
totally.
Right.
He has a little more of an understanding, a little more of an appreciation, a little more of he's slowly trying to, figure out what all this mystical world is. And I think some of that hopefully will come more into play to develop
Absolutely.
Pablo as a guy who's not just a sidekick. He can help in other ways and have intuitions, and so the Brujo was a helpful character.
Yeah, and the fans really they went crazy on social media. They were like, "Oh, you're starting fires. You're the next Brujo." So it really
Yeah.
did feel for me. It was a really cool
Yeah,
moment.
and I didn't know that this is what happened. And I was with this music and watching you walk away. I mean, it's so great. But then this is what's so great about the show is it's like this epic moment after this dramatic moment after this intense demon
I mean,
moment.
Hemke did a backflip
Right,
onto
he did a
that
backflip,
thing.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and then here we are, and we were even talking about this, Ray, when we were shooting it, and then yet here we all are together, like laughing about it and joking about it and being like, "I must have been a good time."
I think that's
You
what
know,
people love
that's
about
what I'm saying.
the show.
That's precisely
is that
it.
it jumps tone so quickly and we don't take anything so seriously. And it was a struggle, I think, for me and for you to sort of like
Get that.
to be okay with that, but like you just commit, and then now seeing it, it's great to be able to see it because you're just there from you see it evolve into this, and it's really nice and reassuring
Yeah,
because it works.
and I love being with you boys.
Yeah.
I love the three of us. We're good.
And
we're
it's
a
the
good team.
calm after the storm. You've been through the experience, and now we have a little quiet time with our three. And again, because everything else is so noisy and crazy, that these scenes, I think, have a little more impact, that they're talking, they're relating to each other. And that's the one thing we have to do. Yes, it's a comedy horror. Yes, it's genre with a lot of stuff. But if there's no heart to it, this is why Ash does have to evolve. Everyone's like, hey, he's such a stupid idiot. He's such a one-note character. Well, he can't be on television.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, he does have to give little Billy his medicine back. He does have to save the day in some way, even if it's irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
And so, which I like. You can't. It gives all you actors, and me too, a chance to over time really develop these characters. By the time, if we go more than 2-3 seasons, you're gonna have a director come up to you and you're gonna hold a hand in his face and say, "Save it, pal. I got it covered."
Save it, pal.
And you will ultimately earn that right. And it's not something I'd like doing, but I had a director on Burn Notice, season 7, the last season, they brought in a new guy. And we had just rehearsed something, looking at the script that's still in our hands. We haven't even gotten marks on the floor. The guy comes up, and he starts talking to me about the emotional needs of this scene. And I was like, dude, I haven't gotten a note in 5 years.
Get
And
out
I'm
of
like,
here.
Okay, give me. Well, I tried not to be that guy, but I was like, I guess I'm okay. What did you want me to do? All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let me show it to you and see if you like it. You know, it gets like that. So hopefully, over time, you guys will settle in the same way and become assholes just like I was.
And that, kids, is what we've learned from today's episode. And by the way, that moment, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. And Ray, you've had a lot of good improv moments. We all get them in. But Bruce,
When he gave
you
us
just
the
flip-
fingers?
when he gives the finger, which was like, I think the last take, which was just like after it was supposed to be cut. And I love that they
Right.
kept it in because it's perfect for Ash. Because it's like Ash finally opens up, takes responsibility, shows him how much he cares, but then he goes right back to being Ash and being an idiot and an asshole.
What would he do? He would flip you
He
off.
would,
If you have
absolutely.
a hand, what is the first thing he would do? Flip you off.
Absolutely.
I mean, because he can. He couldn't for so many years.
And he's
Give
so,
a guy a break.
I know. I think it was brilliant. So I'm glad
You
they
got to
kept
hand
it.
it to the guy.
Hey, lady,
Hey, lady.
hey, lady,
Fine thespians.
and fans.
Thank you for joining in today. Good night, and thank you for following this show. Ray, Dana, be well.
Ditto, boss.
Peace.